Zidane Danny, Election Ninja here, and welcome back to Election Ninja's Lab. Today's video is a bit of a fan theory review, but it's also a bit of a new-ish series. We are about to start the discussion of the history of the miraculous. And as such, there's a lot of things to unpack with the whole world of miraculous. First off, we should note that there are miraculouses, but there are still other powers besides the miraculous. On top of that, there's also the simple fact that uh, in this universe, the Big Bang happened, meaning that this is an evolutionist world. Uh, Meaning that in this world, no matter what we say, there this is evolution. This isn't there is no any other ways that the world could have been created. All of this was because of evolution. So, yeah. If you are well versed on evolution, you'll be fine in this video. If you are not, then it will be a bit confusing. But, yes. All of the information that we currently have on the history of the miraculous comes from either the comic book, which has a decent amount of the early history, which is what we're going to be talking about, or it's also going to be coming from the wiki, which has some good information on the previous holders of the miraculous, specifically all of the a good amount, I guess, of the previous ladybugs, a few of the cat noirs, a few of the hawk moths, and so on and so forth. But anyways, let's get into this first video. And this one, we are going to be talking from the creation of the universe to the, well, the point of the dinosaurs. So let's take a look back. The first thing to note is that the Kwami's the first Kwami in the comic is stated that Tiki was the very first Kwami because of the fact that she was created during the Big Bang. This is a rather important detail. However, I also want to state that most likely this is no longer true, as the fact that this has been this is an old comic now, means that a lot of things could have changed with the history of the miraculous since then. Meaning that now that there are other miraculous boxes, it's actually very likely that more than just Tiki was created during the Big Bang. I'm actually willing to say that the big two of each miraculous box were created. So Tiki and Plag, the twin dragons, whatever is going to be the Native American one, whatever is going to be the South American one, whatever is going to be the African, Transylvania, Australia, Antarctica, the ocean, all of those miraculous boxes, at that moment, each of them gained two miraculouses. One that has the aspects of destruction, which isn't necessarily all about destruction. There are some other aspects that would be important there, as well as one for creation. Each of these is a lot of different aspects melded into different Kwamis. While Tiki is the Kwami of creation and Plag is the Kwami of destruction, it's actually very likely that there are still these little aspects that are connected to Yin and Yang, or their equivalents across the world, that would be within this situation. So, once the Kwamis were created, the first thing to note is that the creation Kwamis, the Kwamis like Tiki, were sent off across the universe, which is why Tiki believed that she was the first Kwami. All of the other Kwamis spread out across the cosmos, and I honestly believe that there's actually a lot more than the actual Kwamis that were created. With each of these Kwamis came their destruction Kwamis. They woke up the instant that they were causing the destruction of the Big Bang, and saw each of their counterparts flying off in different directions. Tiki happened to be going towards Earth, along with a few others, because I'm actually going to say that there's actually quite a lot that probably went towards Earth later down the line. But when when each of them noticed this, after the destruction ended, these Kwamis then chased after their respective equivalents. So Plague chased after Tiki. The the Black Dragon followed the White Dragon, so on and so forth. Eventually, several of these Miraculouses would make their way to Earth, seeing a lot of different things. Tiki, as well as I believe a few of the other creation Kwamis, as well as a few other Kwamis as well, which we will get into in a little bit, were all residing around Earth at the time. Just acknowledging that this world is a beautiful world with life. At which point, Plague, who has been following Tiki for many years, finally finds her. But he's distracted, thinking, oh, we're going to be in love and this and that, when suddenly he hits an asteroid and sends it hurtling towards Earth, killing off all of the dinosaurs. And this is a big deal. This causes all of the Kwamis to get pissed off with Plague, and Tiki takes the time to remeld the Earth, to create it back to its into a state where it can actually thrive. The dinosaurs are dead, all of them. Maybe a few are still alive, but we don't know that for sure. And creates the first few humans. The early ones. At which point, other Kwamis start coming towards Earth. More and more. It doesn't really matter how many there are, but a lot of them do start coming towards Earth. And this is because Earth is special. Earth now has a type of life form that works together to make a grand society. And the Kwamis are all interested in this. And that is where they start to help the people of the Earth. Little by little, just little pieces here and there. The different Kwamis spread out across the world. Obviously, Tiki's group will head towards China, where they will eventually meet the miraculous creator. And then all of these other Miraculouses will start spreading out throughout the world to the different locations where they would eventually gain their miraculous boxes. Unfortunately, that's not for this video. We're mostly focused on the creation of these Kwamis. Unfortunately, we don't necessarily know how many of these other Kwamis, besides the first two for each Kwami box, were created. But I would actually say that two of these of the Kwamis for the first Miracle Box were created at the same time that the rest of the Kwamis would have been, that the big two would have been created. These two being Fluff, the Kwami of Time, and Long, the Kwami of the Elements. The main reason that these two Kwamis would have been created at the exact same time is because of the fact that the time one is a bit tricky, but basically, as soon as there is the concept of time, then time travel is possible. And on top of that, as soon as the concept of time travel exists, you can travel backwards and forward to any point in time, meaning that time travel has always existed. Meaning that Fluff, even if humans or any other people didn't actually figure out how to time travel until many, many years from now, Fluff would exist instantly at the beginning of time because of the fact that that people could once people actually figured out time travel, they could go back to the beginning of time, meaning that fluff would exist the instant that the universe would have been created, meaning that just less than a second, maybe a nanosecond after the creation Kwamis existed, fluff would exist. And the reason that long existed is because of the fact that long is the elements. There's a lot to this whole situation, but basically because of the fact that he has the power of the elements, he can basically he's kind of a connection to the creation Kwami. There's a lot to deal with it, and it's kind of hard to say for sure. Let's move on to the Butterfly Miraculous. The Butterfly Miraculous is actually the miraculous of selflessness, meaning that as soon as selflessness is a concept within this world, that Kwami exists. And that means that probably as soon as Earth exists, well, as soon as humans exist, shortly afterwards, that's when the Butterfly Miraculous would exist. I also believe that this is around the same time that the Peacock would have started to exist, so there's that. Next is the Turtle Miraculous, aka being the concept of protection. This one would be would start to exist the instant that that anything was willing to protect itself, probably meaning that it would have existed around the same time as the dinosaurs. Next is the Fox Miraculous. I believe that the fox would have existed the instant that the first lie was told, whether that be through the Kwamis or some other being, be that humans, animals, whatever. As soon as there's a lie, that's when the illusion, the Kwami of illusion, aka tricks, would exist. The B is the Disabling Miraculous, obviously existed probably as soon as animals existed because they disable a lot of their prey. Mouse is a bit tricky considering the fact that it's a multiplication thing, but honestly I do believe that this one would have been created around the same time that humans were created, because of the fact that Tiki was creating, would create new life, but it also could have existed the instant that animals in this universe would have started to figure out how to reproduce. Or rather, as soon as anything figured out how to reproduce, and that's when the Mouse Miraculous would have existed. Ox is basically impossible to know for sure, because we don't know anything. Same goes for Tiger, and a few of the others. There's a lot of actual ones that it's really hard to figure out. But as for Snake and Horse, these ones are actually kind of easy to figure out. Horse would have been as soon as they had figured out how to travel across space. Talki would have, or Kalki, whatever her name is. I don't know what its name is. Once they figured out how to travel, that's when the Kwamis would get the Horse Miraculous, and then they would have traveled really far away to get to Earth. And that's why I think that that Earth is probably safe from aliens for a while, but we'll see. As for the Snake Miraculous, honestly, I have no idea exactly what happened there, except for the fact that it's a second chance, meaning that probably, I would actually say that would be as soon as forgiveness was it was brought into the universe. Basically, when somebody made a mistake and the person then forgave that, then somebody else would have forgiven them. And that's how second chance would have come to be. But honestly, it's kind of hard to say for sure. Goats, basically impossible. Like I said, there's no information on them. Monkey Miraculous, just as soon as confusion existed, the monkey existed. I don't know about rooster, don't know about dog, don't know about pig, and that's pretty much all of the Miraculouses for the Chinese Miraculous box. Unfortunately, we don't yet know about all of the Miraculouses for the other Miraculous boxes. So instead, I will actually be talking about them in their specific, when we actually get to talking about their Miraculouses in the Miraculous series. But I will talk about Libra really quick in the fact that as soon as any concept of judging somebody existed, that is when Libra would have existed. Probably actually still within animal times, just like when the dinosaurs roamed, and that's it. I honestly do believe that that is a decent possibility. But that is the creation of the Miraculous, or rather the creation of the Kwamis. Next video we will be delving more into their history between that time and the actual creation of the Miraculouses. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you have any theories about Miraculous, My Hero Academia, or anything else, make sure to leave them down in the comments below. Use the hashtag #TheoryReview if you are going to leave a theory. And of course, if you are new, please subscribe and ring that notification bell. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. And if you want to support the channel even more, then definitely head down to the description and check out all of the links down there, including our social medias, as well as the ways that you can support us financially, including my bookstore, or my book, my merch, and the Patreon. But anyways, guys, I've been Electro Ninja, and I'll see you guys next time. But on!